Welcome to the Climate Hive show, What Do You Solve? Where we chat with global game changers in climate. My name is Kevin Drolet, aka Kedro, and I'm joined by my Climate Hive co-founder and co-host Mike Higgins, aka Higo. Today our guest is going to take us on a journey exploring how important microorganisms are for climate resilience. Julia Mensa is co-founder and CEO of Nunatak.bio. As CEO, Julia leads Nunatak, a biotechnology startup developing products to sustainably improve crop yields and help crops adapt to conditions induced by climate change. We're very excited to have you here today, Julia. And our first question for guests is, of course, what do you solve at Nunatak?
Okay, thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Mike. It's a pleasure to be here. So Nunatak is trying to solve the problem of soil degradation. 1/3 of agricultural land is already degraded, and food production depends on this land. And what we identify is that current solutions, or like the industry, is trying to change. Yes, we are using like different type of products, and many years using like having different practices that degrade the soil. The current solutions are failing in understanding the complexity between the interaction of plant soil microbiome. And what Nunatak is doing is developing extreme biotechnology to address this complex problem using microorganisms from extreme environments and providing nature-based solutions to restore, like to build solutions for agriculture and also soil health.
So when you say plant and soil, you know, biome, I mean, could you give us a more detailed like place? Like, is this something for the plant? Is it something for the soil? Like, what's going on with that, with that relationship there?
Okay, thank you. So I will starting saying that because I'm not scientist. I have to say that I'm not
Yeah.
scientist. I am the CEO of Nunatak, and nowadays only 1% of soil microbes are understood. So there are many things in the when we say, oh, you see how a seed raise in the middle of, I don't know, the desert, or maybe in your garden. You say, oh, it's a miracle how this seed after 3 months is a plant species that is beautiful, and it's like kind of magic. But the issue is that science helps us to understand this magic, right? And the interaction, like plant species needs energy. So 50% or less of the energy that they consume, they put on the roots of the microbiome of this plant species, and using to access to the nutrients that are generally on soils. So, or the environment where most of the plant species survives is on soil. So they use half of the energy to access to those nutrients to grow better. The interaction with the microbiome is that as humans, we have our own microbiota, and if why we care about the products that we consume, how organic it is or not, if it has, I don't know, any chemicals that we can produce, is because all we have in our body microorganisms that help us to access the nutrients that we need for survival. Well, on plant species, it happens the same. Plant species
Mm,
have microbiomes that helps to grow better and have a good, have relationship with the environment.
got that. I'm thinking about, my mom lives in Iowa. Iowa's an ag state, and she lives in the middle of a cornfield, talking hundreds of thousands of acres in every direction. There's airplanes that drop chemicals on the corn, right? That's how they do it. They attack this problem from the air. And it really sounds like you guys are attacking it from the ground, right? With the biome and the
Mm.
seed and what will the relationship with that fertilizer that's being sprayed out of the plane now, be with, really thinking about this from a microbiome perspective? Does it eliminate the need for those chemical fertilizers? Does it complement that? Like, what happens there?
Okay, thank you, Mike. Um, we complement first of all, we want to help farmers to change or we want to provide new solutions on the ground. And to achieve that is, first of all, use what is, we have to complement the current solutions, because people do not change one day to another. Like they say, okay, I'm going to eliminate all the products that I'm buying, because they trust. And also this industry is a very cultural industry. Our generations doing the same thing like many years. So first of all, what we do is we develop products and solutions that are a consortia of microorganisms, community of microorganisms that helps the plants to access better to these nutrients. And also what we do is we help the plant species to access even better and have a better use efficient, we help the plant to use efficiently the fertilizers that maybe a plane spread in a land. So from the own plant, with these microorganisms living within this plant, we help the plant species to access better to this fertilizer. So definitely we complement the technology.
So I wanted to ask you also just about like soil erosion, because I know this is one of the things that Nunatak is actually solving, is soil erosion. So my understanding that part of what you do is that you guys take these microorganisms in areas that are really harsh conditions, like super cold or hot, and you're able to essentially learn from them so that you can strengthen what is currently being eroded. I'm not saying it well, but can you talk about that? Can you explain kind of how that works, like what you're doing and how what you're learning from those harsh environments that's now helping prevent soil erosion?
Okay, thank you, Kevin. So when I say Nunatak is doing extreme biotechnology, is because we spent 20 years doing science in Antarctica. And what we did is decode how a plant species could survive in very harsh conditions, in Antarctic conditions. And it was because of the microbiome, the microorganisms that lives on this plant species. For us, if we see a plant species living in the middle of the desert, of maybe near a volcano or like whatever, for us is like treasure, like gold. I don't know. It's like we have a lot of information there that we want to use this information and transform this nature resilience into solutions, into real solutions for agriculture nowadays. So we are this vehicle between the nature being resilient in very, very harsh conditions. And also I have to mention something like, before being humans, before being plants, there were microbes. So microorganisms were the first, they have billions of years of adaptation and experience on Earth. So when we see a plant species surviving in Antarctica, like Patagonia, Argentina, or maybe, we can think like different extreme places around the world, or maybe even in other planets, right? Like, because it's like, if there is life, it's because there is something behind this that it helps to survive in those conditions. So what we Nunatak wants to do is understanding why it survives and using this knowledge and the functionalities of those microorganisms to develop new solutions. And in what we want to do is to keep transforming the industry, the agriculture industry, to a more sustainable and productive agriculture, right?
I think that's fascinating and right on the money, right? In terms of, you're able to find these plant species growing in these enormously difficult areas, and then you look at what nature has done, what nature has overcome, right? How is it compensated, right, to allow life to happen, and then you can take that and apply it, its scale in other areas. I think that's a fascinating aspect of your model. I really do. So with that said, how do we think about Nunatak? are you lab R&D? So you're doing these things and inventing these things and observing these things and putting them into a commercially packageable format that then you partner with manufacturers and existing companies, or are you guys doing that directly? Like, how do we understand your business?
Okay, thank you. So we have like two business models. Like one on the one side, we have a strong IP strategy, and we protect all the technology and products that we develop. So we can have a licensing model, like a revenue through licensing and royalties with licensing the
Mm.
technology with different large companies that they want to produce and distribute our products in their own big challenges channels they have, like, but because it's the truth is that, like, in, for example, in the US or maybe also here in South America, there is no many companies that control most of the market, right? So
Mm.
if you are part of those challenges, it's very important, first of all. And the other side, because we are a scientific company, or we started
Right.
as a scientific company with a very strong scientific background, and we did our first product in only 6 months, and starting the company, like after we received our pre-seed investment, we developed this very good product, and then we say, okay, our abilities and capabilities are huge. What we want to keep building things, and that's why also we are open to co-develop solutions with companies, with large companies, complementing, for example, different portfolios. And the third path that we have is scaling our, like, with different partners that actually we have here in Argentina, in South America. It's scaling the microorganisms in a bioreactor, and then you put like in a particular product, and then we can go directly to the retailers and sell to the farmer. We are still analyzing which will be better, but it depends also on the type of products. So we consider that some of our products will be directly to the farmer, and other products will be directly with a licensing model and helping distribute through the companies, the large companies. Yes, we have these two models.
Do you see the opportunity more? Is it farmers, for example, that have soil erosion and they're trying to solve for that, or they're having, because one of the things that at least that I understand is that there's a lot of monocrops, right? Where it's like farmers just grow one crop. And so then it's a problem because there's not biodiversity. And so, but what you all are doing is you're actually increasing biodiversity on a microorganism level, right, in the soil. But do you see, like, from going out to customers and who would be, leveraging Nunatak, is it farmers that are in trouble because their soil is degrading, or is it more, there's fertilizers and it's instead of using fertilizers, or both? Like, what like, I'm thinking about it from the standpoint of a problem statement, I guess, like, you have this problem, we have this solution. But can you speak to that a little bit, just in terms of your customer base and how you see that unfold?
Yeah, thank you, Kevin. Your question made me think that I think that it's very important to see farmers and as the people that know a lot of nature. Like, they have a lot of knowledge related to nature. First of all, like, they work on nature. Like, they dirty their hands and work. Like, they know when it's rain, they are happy. If there is no rain, like, they are really connected. First of all, like, I want to say this statement, because I think that it's important to also keep thinking that it's like, farmers and the agricultural sector could be a game changer in our future, like in the future that we want to build. And secondly, there are different approaches. I don't think that one solution on Nunatak will solve the planet. Like, it's a combination of different technologies and ecosystems. I know different or other type of products or projects that for example, helps farmers to use other type of plant species and try to combine maybe you can also use, I don't know, cover crops during the winter, or service crops. Here in Argentina, we say service crops during the winter. So you keep having a very good organic matter in the soil during the whole year. So I think that first of all, I think that they know about nature and they try their best, because also the agriculture industry or the business in agriculture is not easy at all, because you have many weather also factors that you have to have in mind in terms, because any decision that they have to make is not only that maybe you have a very good product, it's very nature based, but if it's very expensive and if they do not see yield results, the truth is that maybe it's not a business for them. And I don't think that I think that it's a very complex industry and business, and farmers have to think in many variables and many things that sometimes we don't know. Like actually, even currencies, like international markets, international laws or regulations that they have to have in mind. If they export or import the products that they have to use, the regulations that they have to approve. So I think that it's important to think that the transition will be an ecosystem changing. Like it's not only the farmers, it's not only the large companies, or even it's not only startups that would provide the solution. I think that it's a combination of different stakeholders. And actually, even the public sector have to think, also be related to say, okay, we make easy some things, or maybe the regulations or even the market, right? Did I answer the question,
No,
Kevin?
I think that's exactly right.
Yes.
Well, your point made me think of so many different things. I was really thinking about, farmers do think about the ecology, right? They think about who's downstream, right? They think about who's upstream, right? Because they know the system. We all have to work together. We have to take care of each other, and, and I think that that's one of the very interesting things about this approach, right? Is these farmers are thinking about more than just their little field. There's animals that live around it, there's insects, there's the ground, there's water, and farmers are in touch with all of that, right? And I think they think about all of that. So I think these solutions are marching in the right direction, and I'm thinking about,
and if
go ahead, go.
Sorry, and if they do not think that, right now we are seeing like results, we are seeing data that if you are using, I don't know, regenerative agriculture, like after like the nature do their job, and after maybe it takes time. Sometimes it's not, if you change the products that you use and you change the practices, maybe you have to wait, I don't know, 5 years in terms to see really changes, but then you will see an improvement in your performance, in the yield that you produce. So I think that it takes time. But because nowadays we have more data, those that are more skeptical about the change, I think that they are at least starting to listen.
Yeah, I've seen a phenomenal example of ignoring the ecology, and the Mississippi River drains into the Gulf, right? And from the air, you can see the tons of nitrogen that have been sprayed on fields. It washes into things, and eventually gets to the Mississippi River, and then it flows to the Gulf, and there's this giant area where that water comes in that's dead. It's dead because of this fertilizer that's just accumulated there, and it's growing. And you can take a look at that and say, what good does it do, for producing these crops upriver, if this is the result downstream? That's not thinking in ecology, right? That's not taking a global perspective.
Well, that seems like that's that's part of the challenge, is that we create these solutions that are not circular, right? And that's what most of the world, I mean, it's across the board. It's like non-circular solutions, and that's what people use. It's like, you have a fertilizer, this fixes your problem for now, but it creates a problem downstream, like objectively. And it seems with this idea, Nunatak, what you all are doing is you're saying, okay, we're going to actually fix the problem and improve the soil health, right? Like that's the idea, is we're going to fix the problem, improve the soil health. I thought it would be interesting if you could talk a little bit about kind of like what you sell. Like I'm trying to picture it as, working with some soil yesterday and got some potatoes growing in the backyard, and I was putting soil on it. So then I was thinking like, so are they selling, is it soil? Will be the product, or what does it look like that you are providing? Is it something that, and how long does it take? Because it's sort of a process too, right? That you're transforming soil and plants, but can you help us understand a little bit what that looks like? The product.
Okay, thank you. So what we sell is very simple. So it's a liquid. Right now, our first version of this product, it's a liquid that you put on the seed. It's for seed treatment, and also you can put on the leaves. It's also for foliar treatment or seed treatment. So it's a biofertilizer that it's a consortia of microorganisms that helps to increase yield performance, to access to better, like efficiently to nutrients, and also help the plant species to establish better in stress conditions such as salinity or salty soils. So what we develop is products that in our case, it's a consortia community of microorganisms that be part of this product. And it's a very easy to use product. Like it's a normal biological. So it's the same that you can find in any retailer or any agronomy. And so the product is very simple, but by the moment it's liquid. But we are analyzing also to complement granular or like solid products with microorganisms. So we will be developing different type of or versions of our solutions. Our first one is it's a very common or easy to use product that do not interfere or change the process they do the things.
And so is the liquid then a more sophisticated biome that helps the seed? Like, just trying to understand, how does the liquid impact the soil? Like, how does it prevent liquid on prevent soil erosion?
So in our case, this product, it's a consortia of microorganisms that do interaction with the seed. So after they do interaction with the seed, the plant, for example, improve the root development. Our last field trials, we saw 30% of more root development using our product. And so if you improve, for example, related to soil, the root development, it increases the structure of the soil. You have the soil to have a better structure, and at the end of the day, also you put like more organic matter in the soil. So after the process that I don't know, any seed that after the cycle, you will have like more organic matter on the soil and more roots for next crops, right? So this is the way we add value to the soil with more roots or better roots.
Interesting. So it's like the seeds are actually improving the soil, and the seed is improving the soil. Because I think I was thinking about it as like you're doing something to the soil, or as you were saying, we only know like 1% of the micro organisms that are in soil, but you're actually improving the soil quality through the seed itself.
Yes. We are focused on the we are focused on the microorganisms that lives on the roots of the plant species.
Yeah.
And that's why. So this is the environment that Nunatak is focused.
Yeah.
So soil restoration, resulting in that more dynamic plant growth. What's the impact to crop yield? Because I know that's always on a farmer's mind, right?
Okay.
How much am I getting per acre? So, we got the soil restoration coming together, the plant growth, so what's that impact?
So we are keep doing different field trials, and at the end of the year, after the wheat and barley season, we will have even more data. But by now, we got up to 11% of better yield performance. That it's like very good in terms of comparing with other biological products, for example. And yes, and also we reduce because we reduce the use of fertilizer, or we have this option also. You also help the farmer to reduce the costs paying like more fertilizer. These
Hmm.
are the two economic incentives that you can provide. But uh, uh, so yeah, but this is sorry, I got an interruption. Someone opened the door here, and I didn't understand what they are doing.
It's all
I
good.
was
All
confused.
No
good.
problem. No
Yes,
problem.
thank you.
So
Thank
you're
you.
yielding. So
Sorry.
so the yield is better. I mean, the idea is that
Yes.
that is one of the benefits. Because I know that.
I mean,
Go ahead.
sorry, you can't provide anything in the market without providing better yield. Like
Mm.
farmers will be thinking on yield. So you have to first bring better yield, and then of course all the I don't know, biodiversity, better root
Right.
development, or whatever. So that's why our focus always is first yield, and at the same time the other benefits.
That's interesting because I think we talk a lot about on this show is that people's behaviors are driven from, what's sort of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? Like what gives them, the base level of productivity. And then they do think about sustainability, but they don't make decisions based on sustainability. Perhaps they can't. And so they make these decisions and then but the benefit is sustainability. And I wonder if you could talk about like just what from a sustainability and the environment and these kinds of things, like how do you see these things going? I know there's a lot. I mean, there's like 40% of
Mm.
land is like degrading, and this is like a huge massive issue, right? But as you wade into the problem, what is it what does it look like in 5 years if Nunatak were to really become like a thing globally, places like Africa or other places? What do you see? How do you see that impacting the environment in food production?
So yeah, in food production, we want to. I think that maybe 5 years is not a lot of time in terms to see results on field. I mean, yes, of course, but in terms like in a global perspective, in terms to reduce the degradation of soils, I think it will take even more time. But as I mean, what I see is like that putting microbes, or yeah, like the microbiomes or the design of microbiomes in the center of the scene, like large companies trying to use this kind of technology to say, okay, yes, this is even better to use more chemicals or types of products. So I think that it's our goal is to change how the industry nowadays think about plant and soil health, and we want to put microbiomes in the center of this new scenario, future scenario, being productive but at the same time being sustainable. And when I mention microbiomes, I mean like a community of different microorganisms that they ensemble together,
Hmm.
sometimes I say it's like an orchestra of microorganisms, that each microorganism is a particular instrument that then like help the plant to, for example, survive in a harsh soil, or maybe to have better yield performance, or maybe both, to avoid any pathogens that maybe could be near, abiotic pathogens that could be near there, or so, yeah, or different stresses that the plant could have. So our vision is that it's difficult because nowadays science is not there yet, but our plan to achieve that is complement different technologies and different tools. For example, in our case, we are using bioinformatics. You can also use microfluidics technology and nanotechnology. Like, so we want to use actually some of the frontier tech of some startup friends to keep building what we want to build. This is like the way we want to achieve that. And at the same time, we will be selling different bio inputs. For example, this biofertilizer, right now we are doing a product for salinity conditions and pastures. Then we have in our pipeline a bioenabler for chemicals that helps to access better to the chemicals. But those products are complementing in each other because, in I don't know, in 7 years, we want to be building, designing, and providing microbiomes for the industry.
I think that's amazing, really, because what we've seen, especially me having a mom in Iowa, is the problem is always attacked from the air, right? Big machines that spray or airplanes that spray, and you're attacking it from the ground, so it's a completely different approach. And I think a far more sensible approach, a far less ecologically damaging, and every crop rotation, improves because the soil is improving. So this is a situation where you're not starting from zero every year because the soil is now improved, right? So every year you're getting incrementally better. And I think that's such a different approach and, really fascinating. I know what your
Thank you.
website means now. Your website says designing plant microorganisms to restore soils and promote plant growth in adverse environments. And now I'm like, I totally get that. That's exactly what you do. That's exactly what we just talked about. I'm like, this is fantastic.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I was going to ask Julia if you can talk a little bit about some of the initiatives that your company's involved with. So like the SDG 15, 12, and 13. So life and land, zero hunger, climate action, and what you're working on there and what's the impact.
So thank you. So yes, first of all, life on land, it's important for us. And I think that it's important also to say, okay, in which framework or global framework we are, with or the impact that, or the metrics that we want to improve in which frameworks are. So life on lands for us is crucial because we want lands with more microbes, with more insects, with more life, and with more. Then the other SDG that we follow is zero hunger. It's because we want to produce in a sustainable way, but even more like better, productive. Like we want to transform the system to be even more productive and sustainable. And yeah, we have to we depend on land to produce food, but how we treat this land and how we treat the food also is like how healthy is the food that we produce. It's another important issue in this zero hunger discussion. And last and third, climate action is because we are focusing in reducing, of course, the emissions and improving the biodiversity in the ecosystems, and of course having more plants in different growing in different also harsh conditions. I mean, we want to maybe during the winter that lands keep using new crops and having a productive agriculture, but at the same time that always with vast of plant species providing us food or maybe, I don't know, oxygen. Yes.
Yeah. Yes. So
and I would like to mention or to add on that point is that Nunatak is part of G20 Global Land Initiative of United Nations. We did a YECO program accelerator last year that is organized from UN and ITC, International Trade Center. And actually, they invite us to participate at the COP16 of the certification in Saudi Arabia. And we had the possibility to connect with diverse projects that also address particularly these three SDG goals. So yes,
that's great.
I think it's important to be.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's something. There's a lot of land across the globe, right? There's a lot of there's no shortage of customers for you guys and people's lives that you can impact for sure.
Yes, and it's amazing also how to see how many projects are like around the globe, like and maybe are small, like the business are small, or another you can meet, like, I don't know, entrepreneurs with huge businesses. And so I think that it's important to move also around the world and try to connect with people from the diverse cultures, because sometimes also even the how they address the same problem could give you some insights.
Yeah.
Got it. Well,
wow.
Yeah, Mike, I have a final question or thought, but I feel like I've been asking a lot of questions. So Mike, do you want to take one?
Oh man, I felt like I was doing all the talking for a while there.
No, you're good. You're good.
So go ahead, ask your question, and then we'll
Okay.
wrap it up.
Well, I did have a question because we on AI and the development of what you guys are working on as scientists, right? In the science and trying to develop. Do you leverage new technologies like AI, and what does that look like for what you're working on?
So yeah, thank you, Kevin, for the question. So yes, we are using we are doing outsourcing of some services in AI, because we are analyzing the microbiome of Gramíneas, which is the 30% of the food that we consume is from wheat, corn, rice. Like most of them are a family, which is Gramíneas. And for example, we are using AI to identify which microorganisms appears, for example, in a particular stress conditions. And we are building this step by step. Like right now, we are raising more money. After we receive this investment, we will keep investing on AI, because when Nunatak is building a platform, a symbiosis platform to develop different products. So in order to identify which microorganisms that for our eyes is invisible, it's very hard to identify which is the best microorganism that you have to put on the product. So if we complement with bioinformatics, if we complement with AI, we also do, for example, analyze the complete genome of the microorganisms that we are using. So we definitely not only believe, but actually we do, is try to be supported with other technologies. And AI, I mean, I think that biotech without AI will not survive. We have to use both.
Julia, I want to thank you. I feel like we learned so much from this show, and I really hope listeners do as well. I think the work that you're doing is so critically important, and it really changes the way we think about nature and working with nature, and not just trying to like one-sidedly solve a problem that creates other problems. We need more people like you all at Nunatak and yourself. How can we help you, or how can people that are listening to this program support the work that you're doing? Do you need investment? Are you raising capital? Do you need to talk to new customers? What's most important for you right now?
Okay, thank you, Kevin, and also thank you to the audience that is listening. So first of all, be connected and keep an eye in what we are doing and developing, that because for us, it's just the beginning. What we are building and showing right now, like Nunatak will be growing year by year. So our web is Nunatak.bio. We are looking also for investors. Actually, this year I'm raising money to develop 2 new products on response of demand of large companies that are are asking of that, and also for the IP strategy and protect the other developments that we are doing. So I'm interested to connect with investors, also potential clients, large companies, or maybe, I don't know, employees or professionals that works in corporations, could be fertilizer, chemicals, or biological companies that are interested in the transition. And third, like people that loves nature that want to connect with me or with Nunatak team. Hopefully we will be also expanding the team, not too much, but a bit. And also we are a global company. We are based in Buenos Aires, but we are a global company, and we are really open to meet people that loves nature and they want to learn from microorganisms and keep developing solutions to transform the industries for a better tomorrow.
Wonderful. Thanks so much.
Yeah, that was a phenomenal cap on this interview. So well done.
Thank you. Thank you for your questions, Mike, Kevin. It was a great time.